Hello and welcome to Around the Best Town. I'm your host, Woodbridge Mayor John McCormick, and I'm here today with the music man of Woodbridge Township, Mr. Bill Brandenburg, who's been on the scene for, we figure, about 12 years now, helping us with our concert series. So we're here to talk about the summer concerts for 2022. We have 53 free summer concerts between Sunday nights and Thursday nights, all throughout Woodbridge Township. So we're here to talk about them with Bill. First of all, Bill, welcome.
Yeah,
thanks for coming out.
Great to be back.
The quick story here is that way back in the, I'd say 2008, 9, 10 range, we started a whole arts effort in Woodbridge Township. From that came the Woodbridge Community Youth Players, which is now just the Woodbridge Community Players. They've done a show every year except for COVID. This year they're doing the Wedding Singer in July at Woodbridge Middle School. It also produced the Woodbridge Choir. It also produced the Woodbridge Band. And one thing it did is also brought Bill Brandenburg to the forefront, who came to a lot of those meetings back then. And we were talking about more shows. We had always done Monday nights way back since 1999 under 2 mayors ago. They were doo-wop Mondays. We had all kinds of bands from the 50s and 60s, and it was very, very successful. So Bill just had the idea, then why don't we do some more? So we started in, we think about 2010 with Eclectic Wednesdays.
Yeah, actually we started the indoor concerts in 2009.
Oh, right, the paid shows, right.
Yeah.
We had several paid shows at the Methodist Church. We had Poco, Janician, John Sebastian, Graham Parker, right. We started with the paid shows. But the free shows then, we expanded on Wednesdays to Eclectic Wednesdays, and we'll get to them. Let me start with Mondays. We're going to go through Mondays and Tuesdays real quick because their names everybody knows. Starting June 20th, Jesse Garen's an Elvis tribute. Next week, Sky's the Limit. Then Vito Picone and the Elegance. Bob Kulick, who plays a lot in Woodbridge, he does a Sinatra tribute on July 18th. Bobby Wilson. And maybe we'll talk about him for a minute. August 1st, Shadows of the 60s, the Cameos, the Capris, the Del Satins, and of course, everybody's favorite house band, the Infernals, close it out. But talk about Bobby Wilson. He rained out last year, then he rained out the rain out, and we never could quite get him scheduled. Tell me about
him. Bobby Wilson was a tribute singer, and one of the people that he tributed was Jackie Wilson. No relation, they thought. But some old-time music guys, I think it was the Temptations, said, you know, not for nothing, but you actually look just like Jackie Wilson. And it turns out they did DNA, and he is Jackie Wilson's son.
That's an amazing story.
He didn't know it himself until he was a grown adult doing Jackie Wilson tribute music.
And now with 23andMe, you can find out anything, you know.
Exactly. So,
and what does he play? Tell me his repertoire.
He does all Jackie Wilson music, so that's all late 50s, early 60s.
Okay.
A lot of big hits that people know, but Jackie Wilson was an amazing performer. And he looks like him, he sounds like him. It's almost like seeing Jackie Wilson.
It's a goosebump story listening to that.
Yes, yeah.
So Tuesdays, which is personally my favorite, we start with the Eagles. Now, after Bruce Springsteen, the second best band in American history is the Eagles, but that's just my opinion. Followed by Frontiers, which covers Journey. The ELO, first time we've had an ELO tribute band.
Right.
Pure McCartney, we've had Beatles, we will have Beatles, but nothing Pure McCartney. Broken Arrow, which covers Neil Young, they played, not last year, but the 3 years before that. What we try to do is maybe do 2 or 3 years in a row, have a band take a year off, let us get some more variety, then bring them back. A new one, Gypsy, which covers Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac. Followed by Forever Ray, we had them last year for the first time covering Ray Charles. Beatlemania again, needs no introduction. Beginnings, which covers Chicago. Guthrie Brothers, which is a tribute to dynamic duos like the Everly Brothers and Simon and Garfunkel.
Right.
And then the best band in the whole summer series, the B Street Band, covering the great Bruce Springsteen. So Tuesday nights is the 70s and 80s cover bands, and they're very, very popular.
I'll comment on that Pure McCartney band. They reached out to me, said, you know, little email, Bill, we do Paul McCartney. Two of them live in Seawarren.
Oh, really?
We'd love to be considered for your series. So I said, well, living in Seawarren doesn't matter unless you're really good. I didn't say this to them, but I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I don't care where you live. I only care if you're good. And I went and watched a few videos, and I was like, holy cow, they're way, way better than just good. They're really great.
Oh, wow.
And
good.
2 of them live in Seawarren, so
That's
this
great.
is going to be their first time playing our series.
Terrific. So Wednesdays, which was your baby from the very beginning, June 22nd, we start with The Big Takeover and TEOA.
TEOA is a trio from Philadelphia. If you close your eyes, they sound a lot like Crosby, Stills and Nash. It's that folk rock harmony type of stuff. And The Big Takeover, that's a ska, reggae, soul band. The lead singer's from Jamaica. They're based in Hudson Valley, New York. We've been trying to get them for a few years, and COVID and other problems have kept having to cancel. So this is our third attempt, and hopefully weather will be good.
Somebody asked me if we had Maida and the Cornerstones, the reggae band. We don't, but
this year.
This is reggae. That's good to know.
Yeah, it's reggae and ska, which is reggae and ska are first cousins, Jamaican music.
Okay. The Brothers Comatose, June 29th.
That's a bluegrass band from California. They're young, and actually it's bluegrass with a little bit of a contemporary feel, so some people call it newgrass. It's like young bluegrass.
Okay.
Really talented band.
July 6th, Eric Hollies and the Sea. That second group has played here several times.
They've played here before, the Sea. They're a folk duo with beautiful harmonies, a husband and wife. They both play guitar and beautiful songwriters. Eric Holgis is from Delta Ray.
Oh, sorry, that's a J. Sorry.
Yeah. He's in Delta Ray, a band that we had here twice.
I remember that.
And now they play big, 10,000 seat theaters. We got them when they were just starting out.
We gave them their start.
We knew them when.
Right.
So he now is doing a little side project. He's putting out an album, a solo album of his own.
Okay.
So I can't afford Delta Ray anymore, but I can afford one of them.
Right. Got it. July 13th, Pimps of Joy Time. Looks like two guys and a girl.
They're a funk dance band from Brooklyn. They have a little bit of Latin influence in their music. They might do a couple songs in Spanish, but it's a party band, up-tempo, funky dance music.
Okay, July 7th, July 20th, Drivin' and Cryin'.
They're from Atlanta. They're a southern rock band. You can kind of think Allman Brothers. It's in a similar vein as the Allman Brothers. Two really great lead guitarists and driving southern rock and roll.
Okay. July 27th, the David Bromberg Quintet. He's been here before.
David Bromberg played in the Methodist Church
Yep.
back in, I think, 2010. He had a big hit, Sharon, on the radio, that if you hear it, oh yeah, I've heard that song back in the day. But he's a great blues and Americana guitarist. He plays every string instrument. Very talented.
August 3rd, Martin Sexton.
We had Martin Sexton in Parker Press Park too.
I thought that sounded familiar.
Yeah, a number of years ago. I discovered him in 1996, and I was telling all my friends, you have to come hear this guy sing. His voice is unbelievable. It's like 4-octave voice. A great songwriter and a great singer. And I brought a bunch of friends to see him, and after 2 songs, one of my friends leaned over and said, "You kept talking about what a great singer he is. You didn't tell us he's a great guitarist." And I said, "Well, I left that for you to find out on your own. But he's a great guitarist by himself. One guitar, one voice. You won't see anybody better on a stage, be more impressive than Martin Sexton." Yeah, I'm thrilled that we have him.
August 10th, one we know very well, Amy Helm. She's been here many times. Great person. We've gotten to know her because she's been here so often. Of course, daughter of Levine Helm. Tell me about her.
Right. We love having her here, and she loves coming here. She's been on Wednesdays I don't repeat acts very often at all. I bring an act, and there's so many great acts out there to be discovered that I just keep bringing in new acts every year. And every once in a while I rotate one back in. Except for Amy Helm and Willie Nile, who was just here on Saturday.
He was just here for the...
Those two do such a good show and are so popular locally that I have a hard time not inviting them. So Amy Helm's Levon Helm's daughter, Levon Helm from the band. And her music these days gets categorized as Americana. Americana, it's really probably the fastest growing new genre. Not that it's new, but it's a new designation in terms of it incorporates the different American music forms: country music, blues music, folk music, even some gospel music. So there's a lot of artists now that are not just country or just bluegrass or just blues. They incorporate bits of all of that, and that's come to be known Americana. And the band, which is Levon Helm's band, Amy Helm's father, they're really one of the first Americana bands. They were one of the first bands that incorporated all these different American music styles into one cohesive form of music.
Good. Well, everybody's looking forward to her for sure. August 17th, am I pronouncing this right? Taimane?
Taimane.
Taimane, okay.
Taimane is a Hawaiian/Samoan ukulele player.
Oh.
She sings and she plays uke, and mesmerizing. She's an unbelievable ukulele player.
Have we had one before?
I don't think we've ever had a
No, I don't
ukulele
think so
player.
either.
No. You know, we had a band called the Kennedys who he picked up a uke for one song.
Oh, all right, that doesn't count. We've
But
never
yeah,
had a real solid
We've
uke
never
player.
had somebody do a show on uke, so she'll be the first. And opening that show is Kashona, a singer-songwriter from Atlanta, who I had booked 2 years ago, and she had to COVID cancel because 2020 you couldn't get here from Atlanta. So I had an opening slot, and I said, well, she's in the area that week, so Kashona is opening that show. That's a great show.
Great. And August 24th, Adam Ezra Group.
Yeah, they're from Boston. You could also call them an Americana group, or even almost like a jam band, like Grateful Dead kind of music. But they're young and wildly popular. They're on a weekly basis are having more and more fans because word is getting out on the Adam Ezra Group. That's going to be a fun show.
That'll be another one where we had them early, and then they become a hit.
It happens often.
August 31st, the Bongos, the last Wednesday show.
The Bongos, that's Richard Barone and the Bongos. Richard Barone's been here a couple of times. The Bongos are his band from the 80s who were pretty big. I mean, they actually won MTV Awards the first year of MTV. They had videos that won Video of the Year. They're a Hoboken band. They've been on and off forever because after the 80s, Richard Barone went solo, and then occasionally they get back together. So he actually wrote to me earlier this year and said, Bill, I have the Bongos, because they don't live around here anymore except for him. The Bongos are in town in late August doing some gigs around the area. Do you have anything? And I was like, whoa, that's a rare opportunity. And I did have August 31st, or 30th, whichever.
31st, last one.
Yeah, the last Wednesday. So the Bongos from Hoboken are reuniting to come and play in Woodbridge.
Okay, very good.
Very exciting.
So we should mention that all the shows we just mentioned, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, are all at Woodbridge High School, as are Sundays. And we had debate about whether to keep the boxes or not. So what we did is we just compromised and said half the field will be open for people to sit wherever they want. Half the field will be boxes. And the reason I mention that now is because Thursdays are going to move to Herbert Rankin Park, which no one knows it is that, but it's right across from Moby Dick's. We put his concert stage there a couple of years ago. And Moby Dick's is the liquor sponsor for the Thursday nights. They swapped it around with the others, so we will go over that later. But it's right across the street from Moby Dick's. So I'll go over them very quick. These are local band Thursdays, the kind of bands that play at places like Moby Dick's or the Firehouse Pub or Riffy's before they close down. So we begin with June 23rd, Psychedelic Angel. June 30th, Revolver. That's Johnny from Colonia. Great local band. July 7th, Atlantic Sound Machine. We saw them last year at the Rebuilding Warriors concert at Moby Dick's and loved them and booked them. July 14th, Lebanon Ritchie. I think there's a couple of them that are Port Reading based. July 21st, they play every year here in 9 South. July 28th, first time with Black Rose. August 4th, Shaman. That's a guy from Menlo Park Terrace, Ronnie Beaton. Does a Santana tribute band called Shaman. August 11th, Kickback Band. August 18th, Seven Stone. They play all over town. They just played the benefit for PJ over in the Colonia American Legion. And then August 25th, Marty and the Martians. That's the Mayo family. There's a bunch of them from Island. So all of the local band Thursdays have some kind of connection to Woodbridge Township. And now let's get into Sundays. And we start with one band that I just absolutely love. I'm not sure you know them that much because I told you we got to book them. This wasn't yours. I take credit for this one. Halamali is terrific. Local people, Mike Arway, C. Warren. His band is great. They're playing at Curtains, I think, July 8th. I've seen them there a couple times. 5-part harmony, great country, southern rock type music. Do you know much about them?
I haven't seen them live, but they have played at Curtains at the Avenel Arts Center,
right.
And the people there just told me they're fantastic.
Yep, good.
So you love them, they love everybody that I've talked to loves them.
So that's my only pick.
I'm going with that.
After 53 bands, I had one pick. I picked Halamali. June 26th, Hillbenders.
Hillbenders are a bluegrass band from Missouri, and they're doing all music of The Who, bluegrass style.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we had them before they did the Tommy album. They did the Tommy album from beginning to end, bluegrass style. But
Okay.
now they're doing all Who material, not just Tommy.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's a fun show. They're really good.
We follow that with July 10th. We're off for July 3rd. Jake Thistle, which is Jackson Brown tribute.
He's a young, I think I think he'll be 18 by then, but he's still only
Really?
17 years old now.
Do we have child labor laws?
Yeah, well, he'll be 18 by,
All right,
by
good,
then.
good.
Joe Durso, who's a musician from the area and also manages some acts and who has played Woodbridge, reached out to me and said, Bill, I have this kid, you got to hear him, he's unbelievable. And I went and I watched a few videos, and I was like, Jackson Browne, well, he sounds just like young Jackson Browne. So he's got a band, 4-piece band, and he's going to do a night of Jackson Browne music.
That's
and
great.
if you close your eyes, it sounds like young Jackson Browne.
That's great. So we got two of the 70s and 80s bands on Sundays. We got The Who and we got Jackson Browne. So it's going to be a great tribute band thing.
Yeah.
July 17th, Teddy Thompson and Jenny Moldauer.
Teddy Thompson is Richard Thompson's son. We had Richard Thompson
And
here.
don't tell me Jenny Moldauer is Maria Moldauer's daughter.
That is correct.
Oh, wow.
So we got Richard Thompson's son and Maria Moldauer's daughter doing Nashville duets. So Nashville duets are George Jones and Tammy Wynette, Johnny Cash and June Carter, Dolly Parton and Porter Wagner. So they're doing the music of all the famous country duets.
Wow.
That'll be a fun show.
Yeah, that looks like a really good one. 24th, live at the Fillmore.
That's Allman Brothers.
Another 70s band.
yes.
So that's our generation's going to do very well with this series.
We've had live at the Fillmore here several times.
Very,
and they,
very popular.
Yeah, popular and really, really good. So
July 31st, Dead Grass.
that's Grateful Dead done bluegrass style. So this will be, I think, the third or fourth time playing here. Really popular, and they do a great job. And now the Dead fans, the Deadheads, are going to hate me for saying this. I've never been a real big fan of Grateful Dead vocals. They're a great jam band, but their vocals, for me, I've never been that impressed. I love this band because they're a jam band who can really sing and harmonize. So it makes me love the Grateful Dead.
Right, gotcha. August 7th, one that I remember seeing when I was in college, Kinderhook. Back then they were Kinderhook Creek. They played, I saw them at the Colonel's Garter on Route 35 North, and I guess that's South Amboy maybe, or Sayreville. They played Royal Manor North probably. A lot of different places they played in the 70s.
And they were one of the New Jersey country rock bands that came really close to
Yes,
breaking
yes.
through nationally. They opened up for some bands like Poco and national touring acts. They played the Capitol Theater in Passaic, which is a big theater. And they never quite broke through nationally, but around here they were pretty big. Then they broke up for 10, 15
Right.
years, whatever it was, and then about a dozen years ago they started gigging again. And we've had them several times. And they sound like they picked up right where they left off.
They have an amazing following because
Yes.
I go to that every year. I go to almost all of them because
Yeah.
that's what I'm supposed to do. But I really like that one, and I see people there just once a year. They just come to Woodbridge
Yep.
for Kinderhook.
Yep.
Next up, we have Pirate Flag, August 14th, Kenny Chesney tribute.
We had them last year for the first time, and I know Vito and several other people from the rec department just shook their heads and said, he sounds exactly like Kenny Chesney. And I said, yeah, he does, doesn't he? I had not seen them before booking them here, but I saw some videos, and I was like, if they're as good as this video, they're worth getting. So we had them last year the first time, and they were very impressive. They're from Florida, so we have to book them when they're coming up to play the casinos in
Okay.
Connecticut. So whenever they're coming to play the casino, that's the week we have to have them. So I held a week, the same week that we had them
Oh, I
last
remember
year.
because we were waiting for the whole Sunday to fill up.
I
Yeah,
had to wait
yeah.
for them to commit for that week, and they couldn't commit until Connecticut committed.
Gotcha.
So once Connecticut, the casino in Connecticut said, yeah, you're coming on this weekend, then that Wednesday or that Sunday became our Sunday.
Great, great. August 21st, Jeff Slate's Weekend Wilburys.
Traveling Wilburys. You remember the Traveling
I do,
Wilburys?
Roy
That was
Orbison.
Roy Orbison and George Harrison and Bob Dylan, Tom Petty. It was a super group. I think they did 2 albums. And this guy, Jeff Slate, he's a New York rock and roller who put together a band that does all that material. It's fantastic. That's going to be a fun show.
Aren't they one of the only bands where every member is a member of the Hall of Fame individually or something like that? They're the answer to some trivia question.
I didn't know that, but sitting here thinking about it, they must all be in
Right.
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right. August 28th, Panama Dead. They've played here before.
They've played here a few times before. That's New Riders of the Purple Sage. It's a country rock band like Pure Prairie League and to a certain extent like the Eagles. Ronnie Penque was a member of the New Riders of the Purple Sage, and he started this band. So it's a New Riders tribute band with one member of the New Riders in the band.
Okay. And our last Sunday show, all the way on September 4th, which I guess is Labor Day weekend,
Yes.
is the Linda Ronstadt Experience with Tristan McIntosh, who plays here on her own with her own music, and then she comes back as Linda Ronstadt and plays the Linda Ronstadt Experience.
She came in, I think, 5th or 6th place on American Idol when she was 15 years old.
She's not even 21 yet.
She's 21 now. I think now she's 22. When we
Oh,
had
is
her,
she? Okay.
When we had her the first time, she was 19.
Okay.
And she loves us because everybody wants the Linda Ronstadt tribute show because it's amazing. But I heard how good that voice was.
Oh, man.
And I said, you know what? I want the Linda Ronstadt show because the audience wants to hear that Linda Ronstadt show. It's unbelievable. But I want your show too. I want to hear your song. So we booked her twice.
Right.
And not too many people have done that, and she loves us for it. That like, we care about her music and not just the Linda Ronstadt music. That's a great show.
So now you're at a spot where you are the man in Woodbridge for the shows, and you, as you've been describing, you'll get emails, you'll get texts, you'll get calls, you'll get letters, you'll get demo of it. Every time I get one, I just ship it off to you because what do I know? But you have become the go-to guy for Woodbridge Township concerts. And even we have a couple at Curtains. Let's talk about them. Jimmy Webb in March, I believe, sold the place out.
Yep.
He was terrific. Graham Parker just 2 days ago.
Yep.
Almost sold the place out. And
Yeah.
you got, tell me who you got booked in October.
We're going to be doing 3 shows in the fall, one in October, November, and December. The only one that's confirmed right now is Carla Bonoff in November.
November, okay.
And Carla Bonoff wrote a lot of Linda Ronstadt's hits. Someone to Lay Down Beside Me, Lose Again. She wrote the hit that Linda Ronstadt had with Aaron Neville. I think it was called All My Life. They won a Grammy, Song of the Year.
Oh, wow.
Carla Bonoff wrote that song. She wrote songs for Bonnie Raitt. Home was a big hit. For Lynn Anderson, Isn't It Always Love? So she's, I've described her as the female Jimmy Webb.
Right.
Everybody knows her songs, but you know, Jimmy Webb's known because Glenn Campbell and the Fifth Dimension and you know, these other people had hits with his songs that he wrote.
Right. I went to that concert, didn't have any idea who he was.
Yeah.
But once you started playing everything, you like you say, it comes to mind.
He wrote Wichita Lineman and Galveston and Up, Up and Away and you know, tons and tons of big hits. Carla Bonoff is the female version of that. Everybody knows her songs from Bonnie Raitt and from Linda Ronstadt and from Lynn Anderson, but they were written by Carla Bonoff, and she sounds a little bit like Linda Ronstadt. She's got the voice to give those, you know, justice to those songs. So that's in November. That's Carla Bonoff, and we're working on something for October
And December.
December, and I assume one a month moving on into the next year.
Yeah, I think when it's not concert season for the free shows, we'll try to do some things at the Avenel Performing Arts Center, which, as you know, folks, is a 200-seat theater on Avenel Street. Curtains Restaurant right next to it is part of the Station Village apartment complex. It's worked out terrific, and we love having those shows there. And one a month is pretty good to space them out a little bit.
Right, right. And that's about what we were doing when we were in the church on Music on Main Street. We would do about 5 shows in the spring and 5 shows in the fall.
And all of our shows, except Monday, we'll have a bar restaurant coming to serve beer, wine claws. Tuesdays, Big Shots. Wednesdays, Curtains Restaurant. Thursdays is Moby Dick's at the concert field outside of Moby Dick's. Sundays is Big Shots again. There's no liquor on Mondays, and we have food trucks every night. We are going to have a policy this year, folks, of no coolers. It's really not fair to the people who come out. They lug everything. They bring all the ice and the tables and the tents and everything, and then people show up with a cooler, which you're really not allowed to do in the Board of Ed property in the concert field. So we're going to have a policy of no coolers this year. And be fair, the concerts are free. Let's support the people who are coming out.
Right.
Last thing, we're talking about jazz, and we don't have it on here because, well, first of all, there's probably no more room, but we didn't have everything booked for the fall, but now you do. So tell me a quick summary. I don't even have the names of them. And tell us the 5. Is it six shows?
There's 5 shows starting the Thursday after Labor Day, which is September 8th. That first show, to kick off the series, we're going to have 2 acts. We're going to have Muenzo and the Shakes. Michael Muenzo was actually the house band at Jazz at Lincoln Center for several years. It's an international band. There's anywhere from 7 to 10 people in the band on different nights, and they're from all over the world. And they do jazz with kind of a world music influence. And also playing that night is Richard Barada's 3Bs plus 2 is what he goes by. And he's a drummer who has been around for years. He left music for a while to work on movies. He worked on the movie Big with Tom Hanks and some other really big movies. And then in recent years decided he was missing the jazz and has gotten back into jazz.
Okay.
So that's September 8th.
So you had 20 seconds on each now. We got 2 minutes left, so give me 20 seconds on the remaining 4 nights.
September 15th is Candace Springs, the Nashville jazz singer. She'll perform as a trio. September 22nd is James Austin Jr. with Alexis Morast. Alexis Morast won the Sarah Vaughan vocal competition last year or the year before. She's only 19 or 20 years old. She won that competition, which usually is a signal that you're going to have quite a career. Yeah, it's a big, prestigious competition. And so we're going to have her in Tansman Park. His trio or his quartet will be backing her.
Okay,
then we have the High and Mighty Brass Band. Also another band that can be anywhere from 7 to 10 people, and they do like New Orleans funky, jazzy brass music. They do some vocals, and then the final October 6th is the final week. That's the Lau Tizer Quartet, and he's actually a Grammy-winning jazz artist. And they do straightforward jazz, and then he also has the female vocalist who does some contemporary music done kind of jazzy. They do a Zeppelin song, they do a Cat Stevens song, so the vocalist will do some music that's very familiar to everybody.
And you mentioned Tansman Park, that's right across from the train station. That's where the jazz shows will be. We want to bring people down to Main Street. We're going to do the jazz there this year. Maybe next year we'll bring another night back there, you know, depending on what happens. We have a stage there. We're putting a tarp on the stage. It's a wonderful small park. Really works out very well. And an awful lot of people come here by train to some of these shows. So That's it, folks. We have 53 free shows, actually 58 counting the 5 jazz, through the first week of October. I'm here with Bill Brandenburg, the music man of Woodbridge Township, who is responsible for putting this all together. He's known throughout the state. We're known throughout the state. We are literally the music capital of New Jersey. There's nobody that can come close to anything that we do when it comes to having concerts. And I've had people tell me that it got them through COVID. The concerts got them through COVID the last 2 years. They're so appreciative, and they love coming out to these shows. So thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything. And ladies and gentlemen, this has been Around the Best Town.